You are now tuned in to another media part of the DAR Sports and Media brand. We're going to do a little bit of Christmas movie blowout. There's going to be maybe some music involved in this too, some animation, all kinds of things. Because, True's been pumping out the articles over there on Medium so much. We got a bunch of stuff to connect into here. It's the Christmas media blowout. We're going to do a little bit of is it a Christmas movie or is it not a Christmas movie? We'll talk about some of our favorite Christmas movies. Talk about you put out a article talking about like the top 10 Christmas Black Christmas songs, and I thought that was interesting. We're going to check that out. But right off, I wanted to ask. So big part of like my childhood, and I think a lot of I just want to ask, to find out, is this like a cultural thing? Is this everybody like fucks with these movies? Now to me, I would guess that poor people across all demographics watched a lot of the old school, I don't even know what the name, I have to look up what the official name of them are, but basically the Christmas classics that were animation, the stop motion animation ones. With like the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, with like Yukon Cornelius and the Abominable Snowman, and then there was a Frosty the Snowman one where he fucking dies at the end, and it's very, very sad. But I think he comes back. He comes back later. I believe there's a third one that I can't think of right now. But those were a staple growing up as a kid. And when I say they're for poor people all across all demographics. It's because when me and True were kids, this is a totally different setup than it is now. I don't know what the hell it is now, but I feel like everybody can get, Sling for $25 a month. That's wouldn't have been a big deal for us back then either.
Yeah.
But everybody who was poor back in the 80s and the early 90s, well, 90s into the 2000s, really, we had the public broadcast channels. So CBS, NBC, ABC, PBS. And then later on, in some areas got it a little bit later. Fox got added in, and if you were really lucky, in some areas you also got UPN as well. On the basic, just no cable, no nothing. So you had a minimum of those four channels, the big four channels, and then later on it became 5 channels, like in the mid 90s. And the animated holiday classics that I'm talking about always played on the 4 channels. I believe it was CBS. Yep. That's what you said. CBS or PBS was always where those shows were at, and they were on every single year. And I remember watching the shit out of them as a little kid. Any connection to those in your life as a child growing up?
I mean, there was a connection to it, but I don't think I watched. I don't think I watched it as much as I watched other stuff growing up. Like growing up, you know what I'm saying? Like where I come from, it's like you would watch that, but like also I was kind of like a gamer, you know what I'm saying? Like a kid, I was playing, Nintendo and stuff like that. So that was my focus during like, Christmas time. But I did see like the Frosty the Snowman one where the Frosty Snowman dies, and then Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Those were the 2 that I watched the most of those. I don't have like extremely fond memories of them, but I think they were pivotal, and they still are pivotal now. I mean, it's just like watching it's just like watching the Charlie Brown Christmas for Christmas. Like stuff like that. Like those are things you have to watch because they're gonna always be there. Those are timeless things, and so I'll still watch them every now and then. But my daughter didn't grow up with those. She never grew up watching those. That wasn't a thing. She was. The Santa Claus and movies and Charlie. She does like Charlie Brown, but then like she didn't get to experience that, which I think it kind of sucks a little bit for the generation that didn't get to watch those things and didn't get to experience what it was like to not have many options to flick through. There's no there's no 80 channels, there's 90 channels, 100, 200, 300. There was none of that. My daughter,
It was less channels, and it was even less shit that like kids could watch.
Yeah,
like so that's why I was on it, because I'm like, fuck, something for kids is fucking on. Like I'm fucking there. Basically no matter what it was. Because it was such slim pickings back in those times. Speaking of, I didn't really used to mess with Charlie Brown Christmas because I just thought it was kind of boring as a kid. and that is the other two. Like, you don't seem like you really fuck with much. Like, I never got down with Miracle on 34th Street and It's a Wonderful Life and all that shit. I never.
I watched Miracle on 34th Street, the 1994 version, which actually is on one of my lists. I watched it, and it was okay, cheesy, cringe, you know what I mean? But that's Christmas, right? That's Christmas. Like this whole, snowman and like the whole snowman and Santa Claus and and the reindeer. Like it's corny, it's cringe, but it's fine. I think Miracle on 34th Street's okay. The 1994 one's all right, but the 1947 one I never watched. I'm just not something I'm into. It's a Wonderful Life, not for me. But I feel like once again, it's kind of a culture thing, right? Like when I talk to people where I came from, we talk about Christmas. Only thing we want to worry about is watching Home Alone, hearing the Temptations sing Silent Night. Like that's where that's what we were look to. And there's a ton of Christmas music. I love Christmas music. Like I've been listening to nothing but Christmas music, basically since November. So I love Christmas music. I think it represents a different feel than what I was used to growing up. We listen to a lot of Wu-Tang and Nas and like R&B. So you hear Christmas music was kind of like you riding the car with your mom or something like that. You putting a tree up and she playing, like that. So that's my memory of Christmas. So I never watched. Like my mom was not into. Like none of my family members are into like It's a Wonderful Life. The only person that was into watching It's a Wonderful Life, Miracle on 34th Street, was my grandmother. And my grandmother passed away like 2 days after Christmas, many, many years ago. So she was the only person who would watch that stuff. And she would be like, oh, you got to watch this. But like she was born in like 1935. So, like she grew up with that. I didn't grow up with that. You know what I mean? Like I didn't grow up with that. So I never had any like closeness to it. But that's the extent of those black and white old Christmas movies where I'm dreaming or what, like that's the feel of those. And where I'm from, we ain't rocking with that. We just weren't rocking with that. But I'm sure for people who come from different backgrounds, it's obviously something that
that's one of them fucking God damn it, Keaton and Jessica and all of you're gonna sit down and you're gonna watch this fucking movie with your family. One of those for sure. One of those ones. Okay, one more thing from childhood. I believe absolutely must be multicultural. The Muppet Christmas Carol with Scrooge and them. Yes,
yep,
hell,
absolutely.
Talk to me about that.
That's
real hoops. That's what that is.
Yeah. No. I watched it a good amount growing up. I haven't watched went back to stuff like that in a long time. Just because my daughter's not like a big Muppets person. She's not big on Muppets and Sesame Street. It's just a lot of Disney and a lot of Nickelodeon and stuff like that.
Because kids of this generation grew up with access to that shit.
So we didn't have that. We didn't have none of that
with the Muppets because they was on PBS and that was it.
Like that was it. You had Sesame Street on PBS. You had the Muppets. You had Arthur at some point was around and Wishbone and stuff like that.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, like so you had all these classic shows and that's what we watched. So like Muppets, man, I mean, what can you say? It's the Muppets. It feels funny though, because like not to bring this into it, but like now that I think about the Muppets and I think about Kermit the Frog, and I think about the Diddy documentary where the dude said Diddy was rapping like Kermit the Frog, and like he did it. So it's just hard to like look at that and not think of that. But I think, man, like the Muppets, Christmas, like all that stuff. When Sesame Street used to have their Christmas guests and they come through with the Santa hat, like all of that stuff that we grew up watching, whether it was on like Fox for the cartoons and stuff that used to come on Fox, whether it was PBS, whether it was the CBS, animation stuff.
That's actually where I was going to go with this is until Fox came along, if you were a kid and you were home during the week, like a weekday, you were fresh the fuck out of luck for anything kid related that was on in the morning or anytime. Fox kind of took over later on. They had Fox Kids Afternoon right after you got home from school, and they used to have Fox Kids Morning stuff, and that's when they had like Bobby's World and shit was on. bananas in pajamas, even in the fucking morning. But on outside of Fox in the morning during the weekdays, on Saturdays, obviously Saturdays is cartoons, on all the channels. But during the weekday, only PBS had fucking kids program. They had Eureka's Castle, and they had the fucking Muppets. And so that's why there's like a connection with our generation and the Muppets. Your daughter's generation, generations after us, they didn't, they got Disney, they got Nickelodeon, all that shit's just standard. That was for like fucking rich people. Disney Channel and Nickelodeon.
Rich people for sure, yeah.
We were fucking growing up. So let's go into some of your favorite Christmas stuff. You can pull from your favorite. I know a subject that you're probably passionate about. We've had it thrown around in some. Is it a Christmas movie or is it not a Christmas movie? Friday After Next, man. What the fuck? So
yeah, Friday After Next. I mean, I was having this conversation with my girl, man, and we're having this conversation about like this is this movie we watched. Is this a Christmas movie? Is this a Christmas like? And so that conversation kind of sparked for me like Friday After Next is not like a jovial, happy Christmas movie. They get fucking robbed. Like they get fucking robbed, and they have to beat up Ricky Smiley as Santa Claus, and they working at at security right next to Holy Moly Donut Shop and Money Mike. Friday After Next is a classic, but obviously to me, Friday After Next doesn't hold a candle to the first two personally. But I think as a standalone Christmas movie and a Black Christmas movie, it's a classic. I think it is the funniest. Is it or is it not a Christmas movie? Because obviously, as people talk about Die Hard, which whatever, and talk about Batman Returns, all of which I think are Christmas movies. Because if your movie
go into it, don't you worry.
Yeah, if your movie's set around Christmas and you got Christmas trees and Santa Claus, it's a Christmas movie. No matter what you try to do, it could be the most dark. Hell, they got that Black Christmas horror movie shit that they came out with.
So first and foremost, the most quintessential fucking Christmas movie, A Christmas Carol, is scary as fuck.
Yes,
dark as fuck. So I don't know why you fucking people put that into
Scrooge be going. Scrooge is going through some shit, man. Scrooge is going through some shit.
Yes, to me, it's not about. It's like, is Christmas integrated into the plot of the movie? And that's why I think Die Hard differs, is because he's trying to fucking. It's the Christmas party. He's trying to get home for fucking Christmas.
Yeah.
So but by your standards, what you just said, I have a question for you. To me, this is an interesting one. Rocky IV. The fight with Drago takes place on Christmas. There is a robot in the film that is Paulie's Christmas present.
Yeah.
Now, and this is an interesting way to look at, like, okay, is Christmas integrated into the plot of the film? Not necessarily, but so much of the training montage, and basically the movie's half training montage, the fucking greatest sports training montage in the history of film, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. I just rewatched all the Rockies recently, like the last few weeks. Yeah. Shit blew my fucking mind, man. Blew my fucking mind. The how fucking good. Classics. Yeah. Another thing too, we gotta do we'll do like a sports one maybe sometime. We gotta do a Rocky one. Dude, the trainer, the dude who was with Apollo before, and then Apollo dies and he goes with Rocky. That dude is fucking incredible in Rocky IV. Like the speeches and like the way he interacts with it.
Absolutely.
But so much of the training that Rocky is going through is because he's out there in the snow. That's like what makes it, like, the whole movie's out there in the fucking snow.
Yeah.
Which is set in because it's Christmas time. Now, obviously, they're like in upper Siberia, so like, you probably could have filmed that from fucking October 1st to May 1st, and it still would have been the same. But I think that's the point of it is it's Christmas time. The fight's going down on Christmas. That's why he's out here in the snow. So now that I've laid all that out for you, verdict.
Well, I've seen Rocky IV a ton of times. To me, it always has the feel of Christmas. It just doesn't have the spirit of Christmas, right? Like, I think that, like, it's missing that like, it's not like Rocky's trying to be Drago to for Christmas or to save Christmas or anything like that. So it differs a little bit in that way. But I think like with Batman Returns, people say is that a Christmas movie and it has
Let's
some
go.
elements of
Yeah,
Christmas in
let's
it.
jump into it. Batman Returns.
To me, it is. That was when I was a kid. That was my favorite Christmas movie outside of Home Alone. Like just because it's Batman. I mean, it's Batman. Michael Keaton's Batman. That's my jam right there. That's the era, man. I love that movie. To me, up until Christopher Nolan took over, I thought and felt it was the best Batman like live action movie, just because that was like the first Batman movie that I saw. Yeah, that's the first one that I saw. So
Batman Returns is the first movie I saw in the theater in my life.
Yeah, it was like it's like one of the first movies I've. And so to Catwoman with Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman,
and they had the toys at McDonald's.
All bruh, yes.
And the cups,
yes. I had the cups. I had it's a special moment for me to think about Batman Returns, and I saw it. I think it was on HBO Max or something like that the other day, and I was just like, "That's the one! Like that's the one!" Like it is a Christmas movie, and I think people think Christmas movies have to be your like John A. Henry gonna go and trim the tree tonight and like no, like because that's not realistic. Even there's a movie I was talking about on my worst Christmas movies list that I just put out like earlier, which is I think Love the Connors or Love something. I forgot. Love the Coopers. I think it is, and it's a dysfunctional Christmas movie, but it tackles and I think it's a horrible movie, first of all. But like Christmas movies don't have to be like that. They don't have to be like, oh, our family is so dysfunctional and or we're trying to get it together, or you forgot the honey ham and you forgot the turkey and you didn't give me a gift. Like that's not always Christmas. Batman Returns, they just fucking shit up like throughout the whole movie. But you got Christopher Walken in there. You got Danny DeVito's the Penguin. Like there's great casting. Batman Returns, absolutely a Christmas movie. One of the best. I just don't put it on the list when I write them for several reasons. It's because I was saving the Rocky Fours and some of the other ones. I was kind of saving it for a different type of article, and I'll get around to it when I can.
There we go. I'm about to fucking fuck you up and fuck everybody's minds up right now. People ain't realized this, I guess. Okay, well, I will start with a question. A Christmas Carol. That's a Christmas movie, right? That's the Christmas movie, right?
Absolutely.
What are them ghosts doing for that whole fucking movie? Fucking shit up, right?
Yeah, they are.
Well, guess what? Batman is a retelling of A Christmas Carol. Penguin represents the ghost of Christmas past, because that's when he was abandoned as a child. Catwoman is Christmas present, because she got her shit fucked up, and she has the isolation of just being with her cats and her sexual harassment boss at her work. And Max Schreck, Christopher Walken, is the ghost of Christmas future, because he's industrializing and making Christmas more and more all about greed in what he's trying to get accomplished. Who is Scrooge? Obviously, it's Bruce Wayne. He's a rich dude who's living in misery and isolation, not appreciating what he has in his life, living for vengeance, and he is visited and accosted by all three of the ghosts. Batman Returns is a fucking Christmas Carol.
Yeah, I can see that. Absolutely.
I'm saying. And then he ends up dealing with each one in their own ways, just like Ebenezer Scrooge does in the movie. He ends up by himself, but he ends up more thankful in the end. All goodwill towards all men and women. Picks up the cat, gets in the car. Now, there's actually, I've seen lately, so it is a fucking Christmas movie. So that's that answer. Not just because it is an allegory to A Christmas Carol, but it deals with all of those other things that we deal with during the holidays, between isolation and being so connected to each other, and the lack of connection to each other, and what it can do if you're not there and you're not genuine in your emotional connections to each other.
Look no further than who directed the movie to see why that would be such a spin on it. We're talking about the guy made with A Night Before Christmas.
So there you go. Tell me about that one. Is A Nightmare Before? So there we go. Is A Nightmare Before Christmas? Is that a Halloween movie or is that a Christmas movie?
I think it's both.
Or could you watch it on both holidays?
Yeah, I think it's both. I think it's both. But because just to go back to your point about Batman Returns, that's Tim Burton. Tim Burton he walks that line. Tim Burton has always walked that line of like, yeah, it's this, but it's also so much dark elements under this. And he's got a ton of movies that I'm on the fence about, but A Nightmare Before Christmas, absolutely. I think that's absolutely a Christmas movie. It's just
because we're saving Christmas. That's the whole thing.
It's a Christmas movie. It's just like I said, when people think Christmas, they want to watch movies that make them feel warm and make them feel happy. And that just ain't the reality for everything. Like every movie ain't, like every Halloween movie is typically pretty scary or stuff like that and all like that. And so Christmas movies are, but like Christmas happens for like there's some people who don't care about Halloween. I don't know that many people who don't care about Christmas. Like Christmas, like especially if you're a kid. Like kids care about Halloween, kids about Christmas, but adults love Christmas. Like there's people riding around Cincinnati with lights on their cars, like the
antlers. Yeah,
they got all that stuff too. So it's different, I think. And so Nightmare Before Christmas, absolutely a Christmas movie. I think that any movie that has Christmas in the title or Christmas surrounding it, it is a Christmas movie. Is it a Christmas movie where the Christmas is like always in the plot? Nightmare Before Christmas, yes. But like some of the other ones, maybe not exactly in that way, but it doesn't have to be. If it's set around Christmas, Christmas is the backdrop of like most of the things that we see imagery wise. And yeah, absolutely. Christmas movies. Like I think people just overvalue the concept of, oh, there's no family elements here. There's no Santa Claus or there's no that. Like that's not. It's a Christmas
sometimes
movie.
It just ain't smacking you in the face.
Right, like
Batman Returns has those things, has family things in it. It's just not as obvious, but like, yeah. One thing I just want to hop back to Batman Returns real quick. There's some debate lately when I talked about that end sequence. So the story goes is that the studio insisted upon the Catwoman cameo at the end, where they pan up to the moon and then Catwoman is directly revealed to be still alive. In the original version, it was just implied by the fact that he came across the cat and picked it up. There's some people out there who I think are probably are not very fun at parties who say that ruined the ending, her actually cameoing in the movie. When I was a kid, that was nuclear heat. That was fucking fire when she popped up at the end of the movie. When I was a kid, when you were a kid, at least where I was at, Catwoman was like the runaway character of the fucking movie. Like that was what everybody was talking about. So her popping back up at the end, revealed to still be alive after she kills the villain. That was fucking awesome. What do you think?
I liked it. I think it was a good touch. I mean, I think it sucks that they never followed up on that though. Like we never got a chance to follow up on that. And I think that's the one thing I dislike about it, because I feel like Michael Keaton should have got a trilogy to be Batman. That's the only thing I think I'd have had an issue with, is like, if you're gonna show that Catwoman is still alive in this movie, then we need to build upon that going forward. And then the next movie we got ended up being, what was it? Who was it? Was it Val Kilmer? I think it was Val Kilmer was next, and Batman Forever, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So the studio demanded, which is weird because there was like a shitload of fucking sick ass toys that came out of Batman and Batman Returns. Like the one thing that Batman and Batman Returns were not short on was like merchandising, but like I guess. So people probably don't remember this. We'll just turn into a Batman fucking pod, not a Christmas pod. But when I say that the studio wanted more merchandising, I'm like a big fan, like kind of a collector of like obscure merchandising with movies and things. And there is a Batman Forever underwater growing rocks.
Interesting.
That is a real thing. I'll fucking post it with the pod. Like when we were, I don't know if they even got these for kids no more, but when we were kids, they used to have these rocks that you would put underwater, and like stems would grow off of them. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about. I didn't have them, but I know
No,
what
I
you're
didn't
talking
fucking
about.
have none.
Yeah,
But and there's there's Batman Forever branded growing rocks. I don't know what the fuck that has to do with Batman Forever, but that's why there wasn't a third Burton movie, because they wanted it to be lighter and more apt for merchandising. Even though some of the sickest fucking merchandising ever came out of that first, everybody had the Keaton Batman action figure with the yellow belt that fucking
absolutely.
had
Yep.
the pull cord thing on it that you could hook it onto shit and it would pull him up like the grappling hook. Fucking fire. Everybody fucking had that. It was a fucking incredible toy. Christmas movies. So you talked about let's fucking hoop with Home Alone, man. Let's talk about Home Alone. You said is that your favorite? Do you think that's the best Christmas movie? Talking about Home Alone.
I think in the traditional sense of what people look for in a Christmas movie, absolutely, it's the best. But it like we talked about it before on the comedy list, because in comedy of the '90s and stuff like that. It's just a hilarious Christmas movie, and it's also Macaulay Culkin was like at the peak of his powers. The parenting in this movie was absolutely horrible. The villains were hilarious, but also idiots. Like Home Alone represents everything that you want in a Christmas movie, where it's mischief. There's, the element of reconciliation at the end with the family. Although, once again, I probably wouldn't have reconciled with the family if I was Macaulay Culkin. But hey, Kevin did what he had to do. I think I said Home Alone is just one of those movies, man. It's just one of those movies where, it's instantly there's so much, from Kevin watching the movie with Keep the Change and Filthy Animal, and to his quest to get a cheese pizza by himself, and how negligent are you that you didn't even recognize your own brother, your own son was not with you the whole ride, and you didn't double check or verify. So it's just so many elements of Home Alone that make it a great Christmas movie, but also, like I said, it's also a lesson in please don't be this type of parent. Please don't, please don't be this type of family. And like, it's just a classic. There's just not much. I will say it is my favorite since I was a kid, but I have a second favorite because of my daughter. And that's not Home Alone. Even though my daughter and I watch Home Alone, Jingle All the Way, which I hated it. I didn't even watch it as a kid. I never watched Jingle All the Way as a kid. I was like, it looks stupid. I don't want to watch that. My family used to watch it sometimes. I'm like, I don't want to watch that. And then my daughter, we watched it, and it became like a yearly thing for us. And we've watched it just about every year since. So those two would be my top two on my list. Obviously, like I said, Friday After Next is a great one too, but it's not my favorite. I know I did the Black Christmas movie list. None of those listed are really my favorites or in my favorites, but I can well, this Christmas, I think this Christmas is probably the best Black Christmas movie that they've done, outside of Friday After Next, because it embodies the dysfunction of the family, but also has the right elements. But yeah, so I'll say Home Alone, Jingle All the Way. Those are my top two, for personal reasons.
So fun facts about Home Alone. The spider scene with the spider crawling over the dude's face is real. That's a real spider. He agreed to do one take, and the scream is mimed and was added in with sound later because they didn't want to scare the fucking spider, upset the spider. So that's a real spider crawling on the actual actor. The we always see like the pictures of like, oh, this house, the Macaulay Culkin, the Home Alone house. The exterior is real. Everything on the interior was built on a set inside of a high school gym. They built all of these fake rooms that you could walk one to one to one, and made like a small pool, like a 4 foot deep pool, so they could use the flooded basement stuff that they did as well. The slip and bust your ass part of it is real. That he really slipped and busted his ass to do that. Got fucked up. Great times. One, did you ever get down with Tim Allen, the Santa Claus? That was a big one for me.
Yeah,
Later on when
yeah.
I was a kid.
Yeah, Santa Claus is good. Growing up, I didn't really care too much about it, but I watched it because Tim Allen was Tim the Tool Man Taylor. Like that's what he was.
That's another one. Again,
You
on the
know,
4 channels. Huge show
yeah,
when we were growing up. Huge show. It was Tim Allen, Tim Toolman Taylor,
yeah.
and
Home Improvement, man.
that was
That's
a huge fucking deal. The fucking
yeah. The
the Santa
ABC
Claus.
lineup.
Yeah,
The ABC lineup is, and they could have come out with like a Urkel Christmas movie, and I'm pretty sure that would have did numbers in the theaters back in those days. So, putting the Tool Man as Santa Claus, a lot of people went to go see it, and I think he plays his role well. There's I just put out the worst Christmas movie list, and the Santa Claus 3 is on my list for the worst Christmas movies because I think it completely sucks. I remember seeing it in the theaters, which is the only Santa Claus I actually saw in the theaters was that one, and I think it sucks. But I think the first two are really good. I think they fit what you need for a Christmas movie, the Christmas spirit, and the first one is undeniable. I think the first one is one of the top Christmas movies ever. I think you have to put it there in like a top three, top five. For me, it's probably top five. So it's one of those ones.
I'm looking at this list, this black Christmas movie list that you did. This perfect holiday with Morris Chestnut on the front. This is fucking crazy. This looks.
It's god awful, actually.
I feel like I could sprinkle this movie on top of my fucking enchilada to make it extra cheesy. This is fucking nuts. Talk to me about the perfect holiday.
So the perfect holiday. I'll be honest. I've seen that movie 3 times, and the first time was by myself because it was just a Black Christmas movie, and I was like, all right, I'll check it out. Second time, I let my daughter watch it, and she was like, "This sucks," and I was like, "Yep, it sucks." And then third time was like a couple weeks ago because it was on Tubi and free. So I was like, "I'll check it out." And Charlie Murphy plays a bootleg P Diddy, Puff Daddy, and the story is seemingly inspired by Misa Hilton, who was Puffy's baby mama. Like she's a part of the writers or the story creation. She's a part of it. So it seemingly is about Misa not getting what she needs from Puffy, and she ends up meeting someone who would be she'd be Gabrielle Union's character, while Morris Chestnut's character would be like whoever the dude was that came after Puffy or something like that. I don't know, but the movie is extremely cheesy. It is a terrible movie from start to finish, but they have some great actors in there playing their roles. I think Terrence Howard is in there. Queen Latifah's in there. I think Cat Williams is in there. Like, there's a lot of legends in this. Which Queen Latifah had like a 2 or 3 year period where she was just making a bunch of Christmas movies. So I don't really understand that. And they were all cheesy. They were all cheesy. But Perfect Holiday is just not. It's a movie that you should watch just because it's a Black Christmas movie, and it's one of the very few that embodies the entire spirit of Christmas. But it is absolutely cheesy. Absolutely not something you want to watch more than once, and that's someone who's watched it 3 times. Someone who's watched it 3 times, I do not recommend people watching that more than once. But you should at least watch it just once. Just once.
Showing I think maybe a lack of impact for us because we're of similar age, and this one people consider it like this Christmas goat, like this all-time. They're so connected to it, and I just never had a connection to it. I just wasn't at the right age, I think, when it came out to really. You got anything on Elf? Oh, Will Ferrell. People
Elf.
love that fucking movie. People base fucking quadrants of their personality on that fucking movie.
So yes, that is a true statement. It's funny, we just watched Elf like the other day, and it's like it's not like a bad movie, but and growing like when I was of age to watch it, I just didn't care for it. I think Will Ferrell is like really funny in different settings, right? So like I watched Will Ferrell and like the other guys and Get Hard and some of those and Step Brothers and Talladega Nights. I love him in those movies.
Elf, not so much. And I think Elf is a movie that people love, and like you said, people make it their whole part of their whole personality. It's one of the biggest Christmas movies, I guess. In terms of the one that like I can go to a Five Below or a store right now and see a bunch of merchandise for Elf every Christmas season, but it's not a movie that I would consider like in my top Christmas movies. But like I get the appeal of it, I get it, and I think it's a smart movie in a way that it essentially gives a formula that can't fail. You have Will Ferrell like kind of at the beginning of his peak comedically with a Christmas movie that is about an elf, about a guy who's an elf, and like you can't lose when you have someone who's like a rising star and you have a Christmas premise because people are going to go see it because it's like, oh, what's going to happen with, Will Ferrell and there's James Caan and then there's this and there's that. So it works for those who care about that stuff, but I never cared about that.
Speaking of stuff that people base quadrants on their personality on, there have been many pajama pants worn during fights in the KFC parking lot with this character on them. And somehow we have not talked about it yet. Which version of the Grinch is your version? Do you fuck with the Grinch at all?
I love the Grinch. I think
there we go.
Grinch is top 5 Christmas movie for me. And I mean, if you've already seen my list of comedy movies in the 90s, then you can probably guess what my favorite Grinch is.
You're a big Jim Carrey guy. Jim Carrey is for the people though, so that's I get it.
Jim Carrey, the Grinch, that's the best. That's just the best. That's the best. I think Benedict Cumberbatch did a good job in the animated one that came out like 2018.
Yeah, that one is funny. I did see that. Yeah. That is pretty solid. Yeah,
it's pretty good. I don't think you can really lose with the Grinch. I don't think you can lose when because it's such a tale that we've already known, and it's as long as you bring through the melancholy sadness that the Grinch carries. I think once you do that, you're fine. But like Jim Carrey's version, that's the best. That's the best. And then shout out to Max the dog. That's my favorite part.
Max the dog, hell yeah. Did you used to get down? Speaking of like when we were kids, like did you used to get down with the Grinch, the old ass cartoon Grinch?
Yeah. That's where it started. So when Grinch did come out with Jim Carrey, I was like, oh, they're making a live action one. Like, oh yeah, hell yeah. So just the whole you're a mean one, Mr. like that whole thing, and like that as a kid, that's what you. I think the Grinch is probably like one of the ones that I always watched every year as a kid, even more so than the ones on CBS and free TV. Even though I watched those too, but like the Grinch was just hilarious, and it's a good story. It's a good story of like this guy just never experienced Christmas in a certain way, didn't have anybody to showcase Christmas in the proper way, and then there you go. So I think the Grinch is a fun story, and that the animated one, the animated one from back in the day, the Jim Carrey one, all of them, love them.
People react, but it makes me think that they haven't seen it, really watched it. Is Gremlins a fucking Christmas movie?
That's funny. That's a funny. And so full disclosure, I saw Gremlins once in my life, and I watched it for the second time very recently.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Very, very recently. It is absolutely a Christmas movie.
100% it is. What was Gizmo? How did the boy get Gizmo? He's a Christmas present.
Gizmo, that's best character.
The best.
I'm being looked at real funny right now.
Gizmo is the best character.
No, I know why I'm being looked at funny right now. Not
I
from
used
you.
To use.
Not from you, but not from you.
I used to use Gizmo from in my comedic motivational speeches I used to give in my last career. I said, "You motherfuckers want to give up?" When Gizmo was facing down a fucking gremlin that turned into a giant fucking spider, did he fucking give up? No, he dressed up like Rambo and he fucked that thing up. That's what kind of attitude that we need to fucking have. But that was in Gremlins 2. Gremlins 2 was a big deal for me when I was a kid. Gremlins 1, Gizmo is a Christmas present. It is very plainly the motif of the film is Christmas. It's a Christmas setting.
Absolutely.
In their shenanigans, the Gremlins utilize Christmas lights to fuck with people. They are fake Christmas carolers, get someone to open the door so they can fuck them up. And there's an extensive monologue about doing the right things and things working out on Christmas by fucking Santa Claus in the movie. They use the power of Christmas to defeat the fucking Gremlins and not give up. So, fuck yeah, it's a Christmas movie. I don't know. A lot of these is a Christmas movie things are like there's just people trying to be fucking dweebs, like the pineapple on pizza thing.
It's just contrarian. You know, people being contrarian. So that's all it is. I mean, like I said, if a movie has to
growing up, it's different because I was on the West Coast. I understand that culturally, pizza is a different thing out here. But Hawaiian style pizza was like not a big fucking deal. It was like one of the standard. Whenever you'd go to a birthday party or a soccer fucking, end of season or whatever the fuck, it'd be pepperoni, it'd be cheese, there'd be sausage, or it'd be combination, and there'd be Hawaiian style with pineapple. Like what? And I feel like people didn't start being fucking dweebs about this until fucking 15 years ago. I don't know.
But that's just. I think that's just the way it is, man. Yeah, it's just the way it is. People are so. Like when it comes to the specifics of like, I mean, it's a subgenre of film, right? Just all your Christmas movies are over here. Like you wouldn't put Christmas movies in the same ballot as the movies you put for a Golden Globe or Oscar most times. So it's supposed to be fun movies, or it could be interesting movies or whatever. Christmas, like Gremlins is a Christmas movie. Batman Returns also a Christmas movie. Rocky IV, like all these movies are Christmas movies, and I think that they may not have the feel good, vibes of the family vibes I think people are looking for Christmas movies, but they don't have to. It's Christmas is the backdrop, and not everybody has a great Christmas every year. It's also be realistic, like my Christmas would be horrible if we had a bunch of Maguire or whatever running around and turn like that should be fucked up. So. I think people love the fantasy of like, oh, Christmas is supposed to be this and it's supposed to be that. Like, it's not the truth for everybody. I can tell you a shit ton of people who are not going through a great Christmas right now.
I've had quite a few myself. Less than ideal settings.
Absolutely. Same here. I've had several horrible Christmases. So yeah.
So let's be thankful for what we got and for the movies that we got. Any last? Because you did a songs one too. I saw Mariah Carey on there.
That was by force. Mariah Carey's by force. Mariah Carey's by force. Like I don't. In the world of Christmas songs, Mariah Carey is nowhere near the top of my list. But especially for Black Christmas songs, I did Black Christmas, which my favorite is always Santa Claus Goes Straight to the Ghetto. Shout out to James Brown. My daughter and I, my daughter and I started. Like years ago, I played it and she thought it was the funniest song ever because she just thought it was
incredible.
Hilarious.
Yes,
and so that was one. Death Row Christmas. That's something I didn't even talk about in there, but Death Row Christmas, the Motown Christmas albums. There's a ton, but like most people, my two favorite Black Christmas songs are The Temptations' version of Silent Night and TLC's version of Sleigh Ride. Those are my two favorites. So those are the two Christmas songs that I think I could listen to all the time. Like I could listen to those all the time back to back.
Well, we can hope that you consider listening to us all the time here on DAR Sports Media. Be looking out for the 2 football shows every week. We do in conjunction with United Football Media. Of course, we're trying to hit you guys more and more often with these media-based pods. They've all done really good numbers, and we really appreciate the support. That action and comedy thing like popped off. We didn't expect that to do that. That outsold the damn Halloween one. I thought that one was going to go gangbusters, but glad you guys enjoyed it for your holiday. I hope some of those movies made the rotation for your fun Thanksgiving weekend. So we appreciate the support on that, and we're going to keep rolling. We got some ideas coming down the pike. We got to do the 2000s comedy and action list. We got to do.
Absolutely.
I still want to do that the Def Jam Run albums music
Absolutely.
pod. Once we get some experts that can join us for that one. We got all kinds of stuff coming up, and in addition to, because we are DAR Sports and Media, in addition to, if Obafemi fucking smokes Cody Rhodes, we might have to have a pod just fucking about that.
Yes, we might.
In addition to our 2 football shows a week, we're trying to figure out some basketball stuff to put it on here as well in the near future. All that, so much more. Check out the Medium side. If you're here because of the Medium side, thanks for checking us out on the pod side. All of this, so much more, and that is because the world of DAR never stops.